obviously today I'm going to do a recap of what went on. A bit of a disclaimer before I start that. I took notes, and obviously it's my take on what went on yesterday and the things that I say. Okay, I'm always going to reiterate this. If it didn't come from our CEO and it is not in our back office, then it's not true. Okay, obviously I'll do my very, very best to make sure that I keep to what was said and maybe give my opinion as well to what was happening there. But I am going to say this before we start getting into the recap. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I've had an awful lot of messages, emails from all over the world, actually, overnight and this morning, from quite a few people who are either concerned, worried about what is happening, and they didn't quite understand things. Our CEO is a master strategist, and he is rolling this next phase out in a way, in a manner that is going to benefit all of us the most, and also to protect what he is doing. So let's not get ahead of ourselves, thinking, surmising, wondering if this, if that, has all my time been in vain, blah-de-blahs. Okay, let's wait and hear what he has to say and how it's going to be rolled out. One thing's for sure, he said these words: it's going to be bigger and better than it was before. So the people who are thinking that they've wasted an awful long time building their OnPassive business, and they thinking that things are going to have to start again, we're going to lose this, I'm not getting that, all the rest of it, let's chill a little bit, okay, and let's see how it all rolls out, okay, have the full information from our CEO, and then you can make your own decisions, can't you? Okay, but until that point, let's not get ahead of ourselves, let's not surmise, and certainly don't listen to people who are speculating, who are maybe saying things, giving dates, saying what's going to be happening when they don't even know themselves. Like I said, if our CEO hasn't said it and it's not in the back office, then it's not true. Okay, so let's stick to that one. Okay, and all the rest of it. Okay, let's get on. Nice, so nice to see so many of you on here. As always, I will do my very best to bring you the points that I think are most pertinent to what we need to hear, and we'll go over them a little bit. I was actually writing all of this as we were going yesterday. So he did start off, and as always, I like to say a little bit about what I thought he looked like and how he was. How many of you noticed he was in a different location rather than at his home yesterday? Whether that is the offices in Orlando or another location, I don't know, but he certainly wasn't in his normal place, was he? He certainly looked relaxed. How do I know he looks relaxed? He was leaning back, you know, to one side slightly. His misdemeanor was very relaxed. This gives me great comfort, by the way, when I get these vibes from him, when I look at him and he looks confident, he looks relaxed. This to me is a sure sign of him knowing what he's doing and knowing where we're going and what is going to be happening. So all good signs as far as body language was concerned. He started off saying change is inevitable, and as long as you do it strategically and wisely, this is good. Change has to be better than it was before. We are not so much repeating the past. We are at least going into a new phase, okay, that is much better than before. Why is he saying this? He's basically saying that what happened has happened, and what is going to happen is better than what we had before. He mentioned it, if you stayed on right to the end, he mentioned, didn't he, that of when we had the products at the beginning, they were good, but they weren't good. You know, we thought they were very good, but they weren't quite good. And he mentioned, when I asked him the question about technology, how excited he was about the new technology that they're integrating and all the rest of it. I'll put that section up, by the way, on this YouTube channel, so you can listen to that if you'd missed it. Okay. So where are we now? He said 2024, we had to stop and change direction. We wanted to streamline things, get back on track. And when we had something tangible to say, that is when I decided we would come back out and say things. He also mentioned that half of the reason that he couldn't come and say anything during September through to where we are now, even though we have seen him a couple of times, is that he wasn't allowed to, for legal reasons, to come to us to give us the news that we wanted to. Obviously, the likes of Marty and Chris, and a little bit of myself as well, had little snippets from him that he wanted us to convey to you guys. But the main reason was that he didn't want to start the ball rolling into the new phase until he was sure that that was what is going to be happening. This is where, when I said I had 2 words from yesterday's webinar, and to me that was strategic and clarity. Those were the 2 words that kept sticking out in my mind when I was listening to him. One was what he's doing at the moment with how he is assembling the words and the direction and the things that are going to happen is certainly very, very strategic. Seeing him when we were, seeing him when we are now, and how things are moving. But also in between all of this, there's an awful lot of clarity. Now, many of you won't agree with me about the clarity. There's plenty of people who are more confused now than they were before. This is why I encourage every single one of you to listen at least twice, if not 3 times, to what our CEO was saying. Why? Because the more you listen to him, the more clarity you will get of what he's actually trying to say. Okay, so it is hard to hear things first time, and you assimilate an idea off that first time. Okay, but you necessarily isn't the correct thing that you are assimilating, because you need to listen to it a few times, and then you kind of penny drops a little bit and go, okay, I get it a little bit more now. He said, collectively, we started to get ahead of ourselves, and on occasions, the marketing as well. Now, what was he meaning by all of this? He was saying we got bigger than we were. He said, remember, the bigger the team, the bigger the dream, and all of these terminologies. But one thing was for sure, and I noticed this as well, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, all this marketing's fantastic. Burj Khalifa, signs everywhere, GITEX, and, you know, all of the things that were going on was fantastic marketing for our business. It's all very well and good if we've got the products, the ecosystem, the service, the way to be able to sell, I suppose, those products and services to the general public, being backed up by the marketing. So what was happening was we were going along with, or he was going along with the marketing campaign, but in the background, the reality was is the products and the timelines of what he was being told from his tech teams and all the rest of the people wasn't coming up to the timelines of what they said there was happening. So there was that huge gap in between of very good marketing, spent an awful lot of money doing this, blah, 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 having literally hundreds and thousands of people coming in, signing up to the ecosystem. And then what? They can't buy anything, they can't do anything. And obviously, it's wasted money, isn't it? Because one didn't match the other. And he really is learning from his mistakes. That ain't going to happen again. He mentioned that when I say something, it's already there. I'll be saying, click this link, go there. There you go. Now you can use it. He said, if you think of it along the lines of 20 things have happened, he said, I'll be telling you when we are at 15, not at 20. So that 20 have been done, but I'll be telling you the 15, not the 20. So that he's always going to be in a position where the things that are coming out are already done, they've been tested, whatever they are, okay, and then we're going to move forward from there. He said that about the bigger the dream, the bigger the team. What he didn't know was, and what he didn't look at a lot was who was on that team. This was a big mistake for him, was that he spent a lot of time with us guys, mentoring us, teaching us, helping us with our own businesses. A lot of these webinars were like that, weren't they, if you remember? And he loved doing that. And that is stayed strong, really. That is why, one of the reasons why the core, the network, the community of our business has stayed very strong together, because of the time that we spent with our CEO, Ash Mufareh. Unfortunately, as far as the network of teams he had around him, a lot of that was being dealt with from people that he trusted to vet, look after, put people in positions that they felt were the right people for that. And he took his eye off that ball. So the quality that we had within the teams was definitely overstaffed. He wanted to throw a lot of resources at the staffing part, thinking that they could muddle through and they could get to whatever place that they wanted to get by learning on the go. This was a mistake. He said, I gave them the freedom and I trusted these people. This was a mistake. And he said it's a mistake that he has now learned from. If you remember back to last webinar, he actually mentioned a little bit of this by saying, in the future moving forward, he said that every single person that he hires from now on will have to sign some sort of legal agreement. They will have to have had certain credentials that they have to prove their worth of what they're saying they can do. Also on this topic, he also said as well, didn't he, that as far as the vetting is concerned, it's all been done through him. So he knows personally these people and what they are capable of. And I'm going to go into that a little bit more in through this. So what happened? He was talking a little bit about the company side of the people were attracted by the benefits, okay, of what was available to them through pay, through bonuses, through what the company can actually do, rather than by his vision. We, all of us, were initially attracted by either people who recommended the business to them, that trust element, or the vision of Ash Mufareh. That was the key part of what we were looking at, not the monetary side of things per se, because none of us really knew what kind of monetary benefits we could get from the business until it actually started happening. Whereas within the corporate side of things, they knew straight away what their salaries were, what the bonuses were, and what the company perception of where they were going to be. What did this lead to? The wrong vision, the wrong reasons for being in the corporate side of OnPassive. This led to greed, it led to unsavory people taking advantage, etc. They didn't have the right character, he said. He said the reward will be more greater. Success is gauged by how tough it's been to keep going. He was saying that if you look back in time, the people who were remembered the most have had to endure the most as well. He also references Edison an awful lot of times about how many times it took him to get the light bulb to work. Thousands of times, or hundreds of times even. And he never gave up. You look at a lot of other people who have been successful through their journeys of business. The one thing that has always stuck is not giving up, always pushing forward. And this is really where we are now, is that after the meltdown, I suppose, of OnPassive last year in 2024, this didn't stop him. It could have done, but it didn't. It actually, I think, as almost in a funny sort of way, made him more determined to make this work much better than ever OnPassive could, to prove an awful lot of people that actually they're wrong. And not only does he want to prove himself to us, he also wants to prove himself to an awful lot of naysayers and doubters and all the rest of it put into the mix from externally as well. So what are we going to do? He said, we're going to win first, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards. Okay, that's what we're going to do. He said, we're going to make sure that we are successful, and then we're going to talk about it. Before, we were literally putting the cart before the horse. Okay, rather than being in a position where we are leading forward with the horse and then people see the cart. As he said, people were literally, when we got going in the September, if you remember 2 years ago, nearly now, people were ordering cars and moving house and going on holidays and all these sort of things before they'd actually got the money in the bank, because of how quickly things were moving within OnPassive. Not this time. Actions are going to speak louder than words. And that really is something that I think we've all learned from in our own ways of, let's curb our excitement. Let's make sure that things are working as they should do and all the rest of it. And then we can start spreading the good vibe. And we don't have to talk about money. People will know. People will sense it with things that we are doing. You actually don't have to say anything. And do you know something? The curiosity will get the better of them, and they will want to know how you are doing this, how you are able to afford to do what you are doing. And that is when you can then say it's because of this. This is the kind of things that he really wants us to learn from, and also to bring into the new business moving forward. No over exaggerating of income, marketing, all these sort of things. It ain't going to happen when we hit the next phase. Success definitely, as Gene said, will speak for itself. He said, when you grow, people will naturally know. This is more impactful and fulfilling than talking about money. Obviously, we all need it. Okay, I'm not getting away from the fact that it's not an important part of everybody's life. It certainly is for me, and I'm sure it is for you guys out there. But what's more impactful for me is knowing that I've got something that does what it says. It's legal, it's legitimate, it's above board, anybody can do it. And that is like my secret weapon that I can use if I choose to allow people to come into the new business. And we should all be very mindful as well of that. You know, OnPassive wasn't for everybody, was it? And I'm sure this new business will be very similar. It won't be for everyone. So let's be mindful of who we share this with moving forward. One is too small of a number to achieve greatness, he said. If you want to grow, move with purpose, with decision, belief, passion, conviction, all of these in what you are doing, then you have to do it with the right people. Goes back to choose who you hang with, choose who you share it with, choose who you grow with, okay, because it really is important. So what else did he have to say yesterday? He said, we're not going to go to the next chapter until we have done certain things. So we are not going to move forward until we have completely detached from the same mentality and culture that was thriving, I think, within our last business OnPassive. What does that mean? I think it means, for me, what I took from that was bad apples in a barrel. The fungus spreads, okay, doesn't spread to all, but it spreads to some. Part of detaching yourself from that barrel means that you are going to be starting with fresh apples. You're not going to have bad ones in there. And unfortunately, he mentioned this last time, that there's some very good people who have been caught up in all of this from the corporate side of things, from the employee's point of view, but he just can't trust anybody. He doesn't know how many of them have been infected by the bad apples. So the best thing to do is to get rid of that barrel. Let's start a new barrel with fresh apples, okay, and let's move forward from there. I think this is part of where that culture comes from, is that he didn't know how much the culture of hierarchy, mistrust, and greed, how much that had spread through his corporate teams. It obviously had, and it's obviously affected a lot of people. And unfortunately, it got to a stage where I don't really know who I can trust, which ones are good. They might look genuine on the outside, but they've got ulterior motives on the other side. So the easiest and best thing to do is to say, you know what, thank you so much for your service, you've done me proud, all the rest of it. Draw that line, move on to the next phase. And that's exactly what he's been doing for well over a year now. He's been running alongside what has been going on, the next phase of what we are going to do and where we are going to go. Something else he said about what's not going to happen, or what we are not going to do, and is not, and let me start that. we're not going to go to the next chapter until this has happened. He said, there is no OnPassive 2.0. There's no refurbishment. The only thing that will be the same is me, Ash Mufareh. Now, I know this is worried a lot of people. They're thinking about their work they've done, building teams, promoting, all the rest of it. Is that going to still be there in the next phase? Do you know what? There's only one person who knows that. Has he said anything about it? No, he hasn't. So as I say again, let's relax, let's chill, let's move forward, okay? And allow him, through his strategically done webinars, allow him the time to be able to tell us exactly how it's all going to pan out, how it's going to work, how we are going to move from there to here. So there's no point in panicking. There's no point in worrying because none of us know. But I know one thing's for sure. It's going to be better. And if that means me having to do this, do that, whatever, to go there, I'm going to do that. Not a problem. Because I know it's a better place than it was before. Also, he said, we are not going to go to the next phase until we have concluded our case with the SEC. And this potentially could be within the next 60 days or so. Now, remember, and I'm going to reiterate this time and time again, he is extremely confident that the SEC case will be resolved. It's not 100%. But one thing's for sure is he will be able to let us know exactly what has happened within 60 days. Could be sooner, by the way. Okay. Again, he's making sure he's giving us the right margins. That is the only timeline of anything he has said. Right? He hasn't even said that it's going to be resolved 100%. He's saying he'll be able to come back to us within 60 days to let us know what has happened with the SEC case, whether it's been completed, concluded, they need more information, whatever it may be. Okay, so bear that in mind. If people are saying it's going to be done and dusted by then, they're lying. He said he is extremely confident it will be resolved positively, but that's not 100% guarantee. What he has said is he will be able to come back to us within 60 days to let us know exactly what is happening. The other thing that he said won't happen until we've moved forward is technical preparations must be done. What am I viewing from that? I wasn't very sure, in all honesty, when he said that, what it meant. But after I'd asked my question about new technology being used within whatever they're doing, moving forward and all the rest of it, I got a better idea of what that technical preparation must be done was about. Again, he hasn't said anything, okay? But this is my idea and my take. In the past, we have had to do testing, haven't we? We've had to make sure the resilience of certain products, and we've had to use them and all the rest of it. Okay. My gut is telling me what he means by technical preparation must be done is exactly that, either with us or in the background before it goes live. Either or. I don't know. But that is kind of the direction I think that he's meaning by technical preparation must be done, is making sure everything works as it should do before those doors are opened. The payment processes are acceptable for the volume that he is expecting. The products that he's giving us are going to stand up to what they should do. The system itself works as it should do. All of these things and loads that I've got no idea about, that I'm only guessing, all up to scratch. That's kind of what I think. I don't know. I might be way off the mark with this, by the way, but that's my kind of best guess, because he mentioned about the technical new AI and all the rest of it is already part of the new products, etc., within the next phase. So it makes sense that if that's already done and technology is already up to date, 2025, newest, and really groundbreaking, and all the rest of it that is there, makes sense that the technical preparation is exactly that, the getting ready. So we move on. He said for the last year or so, they have been preparing for all sorts of things. They've been behind the scenes, haven't they? He said, remember, as we've been going, we've either been repairing or preparing. That's what you do in business. You either repair or you prepare. Certainly for the last year or so, they've been preparing, but also repairing a little as well. He also then went on to how business is done. Now, I know this absolutely firsthand that is true. Things have changed, but generally, it's still very true. He said 80% of business is done with people we know, not just the products. Things have shifted a little bit. Price has a massive effect on where people buy things from. But if you are in business, for sure, certainly an awful lot of people still have the trust and alliance with individuals of other companies that they supply from or to, because of that relationship they have. This is why it is so important that we build these relationships with people, that they trust us, so that that relationship holds very true as far as business is concerned as well. This is why lots and lots of businesses have corporate boxes at sporting events, and they have get-togethers and meals out, all these sort of things. What does that all do? It builds that trust and that bond and that togetherness that they are looking for, so that the business flows from one to the other with that trust and all the rest of it. So we can learn from this as well, because it is going to be our business, the same as it was before. OnPassive was our own business. This new phase is still going to be our business. So it is important that we really do learn a little bit from before. The next chapter is more powerful than the one before. He said also that as far as specifics with products is concerned, we will only talk about these when it's actually there. He said, I'll tell you where it's going to do. Go here. It's yours. If you want it, there it is. Pretty simple. We'll probably talk about what it is as well and all the rest of it. Okay. But he has learned his lessons. A lot of this is to protect the company, protect what he's producing, because he actually said, didn't he, an awful lot of businesses and companies out there ain't going to be happy when he comes up with something that is similar or more disruptive than what they are doing already at a fraction of the price. You wouldn't be happy, would you? It's a bit like two gas stations, okay, selling the same stuff. but one's $1 cheaper than the other one. Which one you're going to go to? Makes sense. Everyone needs it. Everyone's using it. I'll have the cheaper one. And if combine this with the trust element, better, and all the rest of it, I gave petrol as an example. It's a bit of a rubbish one, really, but you get what I'm trying to say here. That if you've got something that is better, lower price, and all the rest of it, then success isn't guaranteed, but it's certainly going in the right direction for people to make a very easy, educated decision to move to what you are supplying to them. He also said about what is going to be the next chapter. He said, it is not OnPassive 2.0. He said, it's not a money-making Ponzi. It's not a refurbished product. It is not MLM, binary, matrix, passive income program, get-rich-quick scheme, or a rebranding of OnPassive. So it's completely new. Now, for those people who have reached out to me and said, I've got OnPassive names splattered all over the place, I've been using OnPassive and all the rest of it, how am I going to market OnPassive if it's not OnPassive? What do I market? Well, my answer to that is nobody's been marketing anything for well over 6 months, because why would you market something that people can't sign into? Doesn't make sense, does it? So to say that people have been marketing for the last 6 months, you wouldn't be, would you? Because nobody can sign up or sign in to what was the old OES. Doesn't make sense. If you look at my YouTube, I've still got OnPassive on it, and until I am told any different, it's going to stay that way. Do I believe moving forward it's going to be completely different? Yeah, I do. But my integrity is intact. I've stuck with this for over 6.5 years, coming on 7 years with this business. I haven't done anything different. So why shouldn't I be proud of my journey within OnPassive and moving forward into the next phase? Why shouldn't I be proud of that? I am. So I'm not going to do anything. And it is looking more and more likely that it's going to be completely different. It's looking more and more likely probably won't be called OnPassive. But until we're given that information, guess what I'm not doing? I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm not being in a position where I'm jumping the gun or doing anything different. You know, I am waiting, as I said right at the beginning, for our CEO to tell us what needs to be done. And then I'm going to do what needs to be done, because I know that he is going to provide something for all of us that I can really get my teeth into, that I can utilize to make a very good online business. And before people saying, I did it with OnPassive, I marketed, I did all this, I grew a big team and all the rest of it, we don't know what and how all that's going to work into the future. It might be very easy. It might be a click of a button. I don't know. We will have to wait and see. But one thing's for sure is that I am positive, as much as I can be, that he will want to make sure that before anything happens to OnPassive itself, it's not going anywhere, it's still there, because he wants that to be set to 0. What does being set to 0 mean? It means that everybody is paid, the staff are paid, the commissions are paid to those that are owed. So if you've got commissions in your wallet at the moment, that is paid. All of the legal stuff that is throughout the world that has come because of it is all sorted out. And then guess what? He can decide what he wants to do. But I'm sure that is what he wants. But what it's not going to do is slow him down from moving into phase 2. And this is what he's been trying to say. OnPassive isn't going anywhere. The OnPassive is going to be there. But we are going to be using this new phase. Still going to be there. Still going to be logging in. Might still be using a pop-up. I don't know. But we're going to be operating from here. So he said, we're not leaving OnPassive even after the SE case. Other things have to be cleared. Our time and everything should be what is your impact. Keep your eyes on the goal. My eyes on my goal is to do good for myself and my family. And whatever that might be, and however it pans out, I want better for me. And that is my goal, to better myself and my family. Let's do it quietly, he said. One of my mistakes was showing our success, and this attracted criminals, in-house and externally. Let's not blab until we win. He then also went on to say about the Arabic webinar. Hopefully that's going to be on Friday. And hopefully our next webinar for our CEO is going to be Wednesday or Thursday of next week. Remember, we are going to be offering something in this next phase that is very unique. He mentioned it many, many times. Unlimited. This is going to scare an awful lot of businesses. That unlimited aspect really is going to make people go, wow, you can have all that for that. He also then did mention actually about, for illustration only, about the possibilities are unlimited with this platform. He wants to be very careful of not building up a hype. Randy said it earlier on. OnPassive was built a little bit on hype, wasn't it? There was that vibe about it. This new phase needs to be a bit like gold, bit like a diamond, built in the dark. And then once we show it, then we can shine bright. This is what we need to do. Learn from our mistakes, but also use our knowledge of what we know to the benefit of ourselves in whatever this next phase is going to be. I'm certainly going to grab it with both hands. I'm certainly going to dive in and hopefully help you guys as well as much as I possibly can. That's it from me for this one. Ash also did say right at the end, if you were there, the creativity of his new team of what they are able to do makes his head spin. Now, anybody that can make our CEO Ash Mifara's head spin definitely got my vote, that's for sure. Anyway, guys, that's it from me.